Hey guys, welcome to Budget with a July Dreamer. My name is Miranda, and on this channel I talk about personal finance, specifically sharing tips on how you can save, how you can invest, as well as how to budget. If these topics are of interest to you, then do not forget to hit that subscribe button as well as give this video a like. So today's video is all about closing out the May 2021 budget. I'm really excited to share this budget with you, but I'm also a little bit sad and disappointed in my spending for the month of May. But if you watched my April 2021 budget closeout, you will know that I blew that budget completely. For the May budget, I didn't blow it, but it's just the spending was crazy. I think so far in 2021, this is the most I have spent in one single month. So let's get right into it. I'll be looking down on my laptop as I walk you through this budget. So yeah, let's get right into this. So as you know, I always block out my salary, the money. This is the money that I make from my employment. I work a 9-to-5 job in the pharmaceutical industry, so for privacy reasons I block that out. And a lovely viewer pointed out to me that if I do leave my percentages in, people can actually work this out. I'm lazy when it comes to calculating other people's percentages, but I realized that when I'm motivated I can actually do that. So this time I have actually blocked out the percentages as well. So for my salary, that's completely blocked out. Then for passive income, so this is money that I make from my blog at julydreamer.com, as well as from my Etsy shop, Budget with a July Dreamer. That's the name of the shop. So I was expecting to make £300, but I actually made £536 and 35 pence. I was actually expecting to make £600, but moving forward I've decided I will actually remove the fees that I am charged by companies like PayPal, Strip. These are what I use when I'm invoicing clients. So because of that, it's kind of like taking out all of the fees and charges, and as well as exchange rate is the killer for me. So yeah, so this means that I made £236 and 35 pence more than what I was expecting. Savings used, this is the category that you would have seen in my June 2021 budget that I've recently added in. Before, I didn't know exactly how I wanted to treat my savings, whether to treat them as income or whether not to actually include whatever I spend my savings on at all in the budget. But I decided that it made sense to put it in the income because it's money that I'm moving from somewhere else and bringing into my current account, which is essentially adding in, which is essentially an income of sorts. So I didn't actually budget anything when I did the May 2021 budget, but actually I knew of the expenses that I had coming up in May. Like I said, I didn't know initially how I wanted to capture this, but I decided that I was just gonna be capturing it moving forward. And if you saw my June 2021 budget, you would know that I've actually included this as a new line item in my budget. So I actually spent £7,775. So this is money that I had saved up over the last couple of months and for projects that I wanted to do around my home. So the difference obviously is the amount, because the whole amount, because I didn't actually include it in my initial planning of this budget. Then for other income, so again, this is one that I struggled with as well, because I did have money that I went to Italy last year September, and I took out a lot of money to spend on my trip, because I mean that was my first trip after 6 months of not traveling, so I was going all out. But then I ended up with a lot of euros that I never got to use. So last month, you know, this month that just ended, May, I decided, why not just convert it back into pounds and then put it back into your budget or something? But I wasn't sure exactly where that would fit in, so therefore I decided I'll just add it as other income. I'm not sure if this is a line item I'll carry forward, but for now I'm including it as an other income. So like I said, it wasn't initially in my initial May budget planning, so this is why it's in red. And actually I was able to sell my office screen that I had bought at the beginning of the lockdown. I don't need that anymore. Then the travel money, like I said, that I need to convert, as well as coins that I've been collecting for the last I don't know how many months. I decided to also cash that in, and this all added up to £407. So the difference is £407 again, because it wasn't budgeted for initially. Then carryover money, I have mentioned this a number of times on my budget videos, that I believe in having a buffer in my account. Normally this buffer for me is about £1,000, because it makes sense. I do get some bills that are larger than life sometimes, and this is why I love having that much money. Sometimes I put like £500 works for me, but £1,000 I feel much more comfortable. So expected was £1,000, but I actually ended up bringing over from my April budget into May. I brought over 1,892 pence, which was a difference of £800 and 92 pence. So we're gonna move right over to my fixed expenses. So my fixed expenses, I'll run through these pretty quickly. My mortgage, I always budget £700. It's actually £699 and 71 pence, difference of 29 pence. Mortgage extra, if you watch my last Transfer Tuesday, you would know that I decided that I'll actually be doing £200 as opposed to 134, which is what I initially had planned to do. So instead of I had planned to spend 134, I actually spent £222 and 56 pence, which is a difference of £88 and 56 pence. Council tax is 137. That's what I budget, that's how much I spent. TV license, I always budget £14, even though it's about £13.38, but for some reason for the month of May I actually paid £11.87, and I don't know why. So that's a difference of £2 and 13 pence. Car insurance, I always budget £63, but it's actually £62 and 39, a difference of 61 pence. Buildings and contents insurance, I always budget 25, but it's actually also 24, but somehow for the month of May I paid 24.20. I don't know why, but that's a difference of 80 pence. Life insurance, I budget £170, but I actually spend £168 and 17 pence, a difference of £1.83 pence. Home emergency insurance, this I've paid for the whole year. Home maintenance, I have been always budgeting £300, but for some reason I have not actually been spending a lot. So this money is actually for buying things like toilet paper, house decor, cleaning supplies, all of that jazz, but I haven't really been spending much money when it comes to, you know, my home maintenance part. And it could do with the fact that I'm always taking an inventory before I go out shopping, or it could just be that I haven't really been doing much decor in my house. But in any case, I only spent £100, which is a difference of £200, which is great because I'm able to funnel this money back into my budgeting for the new month. Travel insurance is always £18, so that's how much I budget and that's how much I spend. Electricity, always 33, that's how much I spend. Gas is always 42, that's how much I spend. Water is 34, and that's how much I spend. For my internet and broadband, I always budget £39, but it's actually 38 and 37 pence, which is a difference of 63 pence. For my cable and streaming services, I always budget £85, and it was supposed to be £84 something, but I cancelled one of my streaming services, and I think I'm going to cancel another one in the month of June. So I only spent £80 and 99 pence, which is a difference of £4 and 1 pence. My Peloton, I have a Peloton membership for my bike, so I budget £39, that's how much I spend. Then for tithe and giving, I'm a Christian, I believe in giving, so I always budget £400, and for the month of May I was able to spend £422 and 90 pence, which was a difference of £22 and 90 pence. So for the month of May, I thought I was going to spend £2,233 even. I spent £2,134 and 16 pence, which was 15% of my total income for the month of May, and I had a difference of £98 and 84 pence. So moving over to my variable expenses, so for food, I budget £200. I actually only spent £150, and this was on purpose because in the month of April I actually overspent by by £40.77, and I made myself make sure that for the month of May I will actually spend less. So I'm really happy that I spent £50 less, which means I'm going to funnel this money either back into my budget, or one thing that I'm actually wanting to do is put this money into my emergency fund. For those of you who haven't seen my emergency fund video, I am looking to save about £15,000 before the end of the year. So I'm participating in Transfer Tuesdays, where I make money moves every single week. So this money will probably go into my emergency fund, and I will also be sharing a video this week as well on how I'm doing with my emergency fund and some of the money moves that I'm making so far. Then for eating out, I actually budgeted £100 or thereabouts, but I had to increase this because I completely forgot, you guys. I completely forgot that we are back. And I mean, restaurants are open now, we can go to places, even cinemas are open. So I ended up increasing this budget halfway through the month because I was sure I was going to overspend the money that I had budgeted, which I think was £100. So but I even didn't end up spending all of what I had budget. I ended up adjusting during the month, so I only spent £107.96, which is a difference of £17.04. Personal mobile I budgeted 105, but it was actually £102.67, which was a difference of £2.33. Shopping, this one I actually reduced. I had budgeted £100 because I knew I would want to do some shopping as shops were opening up, but I actually wasn't that interested in a lot of things. I ended up just spending most of this money on my Amazon Prime, so I spent £71.95, which is a difference of £3.05. Miscellaneous, I'd budgeted £100. I spent £83.03. This is something that rarely happens. I normally blow the budget completely when it comes to miscellaneous, but I'm really happy with how I did in the month of May. So that's a difference of £16.97. Holiday planning, so I do have a couple of holidays coming up, and I'm hoping this week that Boris will announce that the Arab Emirates I can't even speak, will actually be on the green list countries, so that I can actually go to Dubai for my birthday. So I had budgeted to spend £75. I actually ended up spending £153.95 to pay off a holiday that I have actually for later in the year. So what I actually did, I have put this in red because I had only budgeted to spend 75, but what I actually did was move money from my sinking funds, so from another savings account, and put it back into my budget. So spend the £75 that I had budgeted in my budget for May, and then move the money from my sinking funds, add that together and add a little bit more, and I paid for the holiday that I have coming up in the year. So the difference there is £78.95. Then I pay for a family member's mobile phone. I normally just budget £25, but last month it was like £25.50. So this month, well, the month of May, I decided to actually up that by putting a budget of £30, but ended up being just £25, which was a difference of £5. Fuel, I budgeted £50, but I actually did not go outside of my county. I actually just stayed in my little village and driving around my little village, so I didn't actually use up as much fuel as I thought I would. So my tank is, I filled up a full tank back in April, so right now it's still not even half a tank, so I'm still fine. So what I decided to do as part of my Transfer Tuesday money moves that I made before the end of May was to move that £50 straight into my emergency fund, and I'll talk about my emergency fund a little bit more in a minute. And then financial subscriptions, I budgeted £25, but I actually spent £22.94, which is a difference of £2.06. Road tax, I knew this one was coming up, so I had budgeted £82, but actually it was £81.38, a difference of 62 pence. Then, so if you have watched my previous videos, you know that I have been talking about, oh, there's this financial thing that I'm doing at the moment that I'll share when I'm happy and ready to, and I will share in my net worth update, which I think I've scheduled to come out next week, but we shall see. So I am in a process of buying a rental property. So all the contracts and everything are with my lawyers. I'm just waiting for the seller to answer a few more questions, and then we'll finalize the deal. But part of that, but the buying this rental property meant that I needed to have a severe look at this property, because the lender, the mortgage lender, did send their own surveyor, but that's for like making sure that I can the money that I'm asking to borrow from them is, this house is actually worth that money. So they sent their own surveyor. He did his thing, and they were honky-dory and happy to lend me the money. But then I had to do one for myself to make sure that before I signed the contracts, that there wasn't anything untoward or surprising that I'll find out when I have a tenant in the house. So the report came out, and they charged me £570 because I went for a snagging report, and there's a lot of little things that need to be done, but thankfully nothing too critical or major. But this is not an item that I had planned for in my budget. I knew I was gonna have to do it, but I actually thought I was gonna do it in April. That did not happen, so I was like, do you know what, I don't know if it's gonna be May, it's gonna be June, whatever. So I didn't actually budget for it, but I had the money in my account. So that is a difference of £570 because I did not include it in my initial planning of this budget. Garden renovation, like I said, I did not include it in the budget when I was planning out my May budget, but I actually knew that I was having garden work done in the month of May, and I had received a quote, but I forgot that that quote was minus VAT, which we have to pay VAT in the UK, so on services. So I was like, oh, actually I don't know how much that is. I had an idea because I'd saved up about 6,500 to use towards my garden renovation, but it turned out that that was actually just 6,252 pounds and 53 pence. Then my outer garden, so this one, I live in a village on a corner, which means my garden actually goes into the public pathway. So I had the council on my ass telling me that you need to cut your shrub because it's blocking public pathway, which was such a surprise. And I don't think anybody has ever told me that you need to do this as a homeowner. I knew I had to cut the shrub because it's becoming big. I just didn't have the time, so I had to hire someone, and it got really urgent. They were like, oh, we should do it within this specified time, and I was like, okay. So I hired somebody at the last minute, and that cost me £200. So that brought my total to £6,452 and 53 pence. Again, I had the money for the garden work because I'd saved up 6,500 already. I actually was just able to empty out my savings for the garden renovations and just use that. That's what I used. Then I had a personal emergency, which I hope one day I'll be able to talk about, but again, this is not something I budgeted for, and I raided my savings again, so that cost me £1,682 and 60 pence. Again, that's the same amount for the difference because this is not something I had planned to spend in the month of May, but we move literally. So I had planned to spend £867, but I actually spent 9,504 pence and 9,504 pounds and 1 pence. These big numbers always confuse me, but I always get there in the end. So this is not my normal spending. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, May was, in terms of spending, the most expensive month so far in 2021. If I complete on the house this month in June, then June will become my most expensive month so far because I have to take out the deposit from my account and pay that over to the seller of the rental property I'm just in the process of completing. So yeah, so looking at my total expenditures, and I'll come to my savings in a second. So fixed expenses, I already mentioned how much I plan to spend and how much I actually spent. Variable, how much I actually what I planned and how much I actually spent. Savings, I haven't spoken about this, but I had planned to save up £2,200, but I only managed to save up £1,120 and 33 pence. This is because I actually spent more money out of my savings than into my savings. So this is why it was less, because as soon as I put that money in, I had to take it out. So I had to make some adjustments. So for my home maintenance fund, I didn't put anything into that account because I actually took out the £7,775. Then for my holiday one, I actually put £100 in to bring it to £1,000 because I'm saving up for 2022 holidays. So this is why you see that in my tracker I actually have holiday planning and then holiday money. The money that I'm saving right now in a savings account with Halifax, and I can't touch that money until next year on the first year anniversary of opening this account, which is fine because it's helping me actually save money for my holidays for 2022. Then for my emergency fund, like I said, I had an emergency in the month of May, so I had to take out over £1,000. I think it was almost £2,000, no, £1,682 and 60 pence. That's how much I had to take out. So which meant I only was able to put in £299 and 85 pence to bring that to an even number. And if you watched my Transfer Tuesday, you will know that I actually evened out and I saved £5,000 before the end of May. Then for my investment, so I normally budget £400 to go to my investments, but actually for the month of May I was able to add a little bit more, £100 more than I normally put into my investments, and I'll share that in more detail at the end of June when I do my investment update video. Then I have Plum Savings. So this is an app that's attached to my bank account that rounds up all of my spending and saves that money for me. So I was able to save £220 and 48 pence, and I was able to disperse that into various savings accounts, especially my sinking fund. So if you've seen my sinking funds video, you will know that the money that I normally put into those sinking funds actually comes from the roundups that I get that Plum does for me in my bank account and moves the money into various spots that I have set up. So yeah, so the month of May, definitely on record so far to be one of the most expensive months for me. I have rated my savings account, and it actually hurts to save, to use the money that I've worked so hard to save, but I know I'm doing it for a good cause. Like, I really wanted to do my garden up, and I love what my garden looks like now, so that is definitely an investment. My personal emergency that came up, that's also actually an investment in its own way, so I'm not too sad about that. But yeah, so if you haven't seen my June planning video, you should check that out. I will either link it up or leave it in the description bar below. But thank you so much for watching my videos, for liking them. For all my new subscribers, thank you so much. I'm happy to have you on this journey to, as I work to, I don't even know what I'm trying to say, as I work on my financial freedom. That is what I'm trying to say. So thank you so much for watching my video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.